Most of us have challenges in our lives that could use some divine help. If that's true in your life right now, or if it might be true in the days ahead, this lesson could be one of the most important you will find in the Gospel of Mark. As Jesus came down from the mountain, and that's almost certainly Mount Hermon, he reunited with his disciples, the ones he had left behind at Caesarea Philippi. Even if they weren't in the city itself, Caesarea Philippi can help us understand this entire region. There were no synagogues here. That means there were almost no Jewish people here. Jerusalem is so far away, it might as well have been in a distant country. The idea of making a spiritual pilgrimage to Jerusalem for Passover or one of the other festivals is difficult enough for those who lived in Capernaum or Nazareth. But here, it might take 2 weeks just to reach Jerusalem, then another 2 weeks to return, in addition to the week of celebration you would have in Jerusalem. That's a 1-month commitment just for one festival a year. Jewish men closer to the city tried to visit Jerusalem 3 times every year. Now, this area was never going to prosper as a strong Jewish community. The tribe of Dan had already proven that. Do you know about the tribe of Dan? That tribe in the days of Joshua had been assigned a place in Judea between Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Hebron in the mountains and the Philistines on the coastal plain. But Dan got tired of its constant role as a warrior tribe and sought out a better place to live. Spies came to this region far in the north and found a well-watered paradise. At that time, the people living in this area were not protected. They were ripe for the taking. So the warriors of Dan led their people north, where they slaughtered an entire community in the name of God. Honestly, that's what they said. It comes from the book of Judges. When you get there, you will find an unsuspecting people and a spacious land that God has put into your hands, a land that lacks nothing whatsoever. But God had not put this community into their hands. They simply took it. They murdered people to take it. And they even brought an idol with them. The tribe of Dan reinterpreted the rules of God to better suit their own desires. They did what they wanted and expected God to approve of their actions. You might say the people of Dan were the spiritual ancestors of the people Jesus and the disciples met at Caesarea Philippi. By the way, the people of Dan disappeared so completely from history, that tribe does not even make the 12 tribes listed for us in the book of Revelation. That's what compromise and disobedience did for them. Now, centuries later, when Jesus was here, this region was home to Greek gods, Roman gods, emperor worship. The one true God was nowhere to be found. Not only was there a temple to the Roman emperor at Caesarea Philippi, there was a new temple to the emperor built in Amrit, just 3 miles away. That temple was perched on a hill overlooking the Hula Valley, and it was there to honor Caesar Augustus as divine. He's the emperor of the Christmas story. Jesus and his disciples would have seen that temple on their way to Caesarea Philippi. Now, here's the point. From a spiritual perspective, during the days of Jesus, the area around Caesarea Philippi may have been the darkest corner of Israel. Some might have even asked, what's a Jewish rabbi doing here? Why would a Jewish rabbi bring his disciples to this place? And the answer? Because people needed him. Jesus was the light of the world, and this place was filled with darkness. He had already told his disciples the same way he tells us, you are the light of the world. Light will never make a difference in the darkness if we always stay where there's already a lot of light. Dark places need you to show up. They need your light. As an example of this, Mark tells us about a father whose son was possessed by an evil spirit. The child was afflicted terribly and no one could help. The disciples of Jesus were powerless. Only Jesus could help. Now, watch how Jesus brings light to this father. At first, the father is almost nonchalant. He certainly doesn't believe anyone can help his son. He said to Jesus, well, if you can do anything, take pity on us, help us. Can you see Jesus in this moment? He has just been through the transfiguration. He has long proved that he can do anything. He shouts, if I can. Boy, I can almost see his eyes flashing. Are you kidding me? If I can. Everything, anything is possible for the one who believes. And the Father got it. He comprehended that Jesus was no ordinary man. I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. And that's when Jesus turned his attention to the boy and healed him. This is really, really important. And again, I want to say this is one of the most important messages in the Gospel of Mark. You see, whatever challenge you might be facing, your belief in Jesus is the first thing that has to be settled. If you're fighting a terrible physical disease or enormous financial pressures, you've got stress at home or grief that has overwhelmed you, whatever your challenge, the first thing that has to be settled is whether or not you really believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, the life, and the only way to get to the Father. Listen to him. He's still saying everything is possible if you believe. So settle that first. And after that, miracles are possible.